Hey guys, Dale here, back with a new RimWorld series, Jedi Survivors. This is part 0, and so what I'll be doing during this video is just kind of like setting up the playthrough for you guys. So we'll talk about the mods, we'll talk about our goals for the playthrough, and we'll take a look at the planet and all that fun stuff. So if you're not super interested in that setup, go ahead and feel free to skip part 0. Part 1, we will get into the nitty gritty play, and that should be coming up or premiering just a few minutes after this. So I'll see you guys over there if you aren't hanging out with me here. Anyhow, I think the first thing that I always do is I always open up Graphics Setter just to kind of like show you guys what content from the mods, like what mods are adding a lot of like textures, visual content, right? It feels really silly that Anomaly Upscaled is adding the most content because we are playing with the Anomaly DLC on, but we are turning off the anomaly events. So we hit the setting to like make all that go away. So Anomaly Upscaled feels unnecessary as part of the mod pack. If you're interested in playing along, whether you play with the save or just want to like peruse the collection that I put together. Anomaly Upscale definitely doesn't need to be a part of it, but I have a hard time kind of like editing out just like the base mods that I play with all the time. Save Our Ship 2, Star Wars ships. So this is a bunch of just like superficial aesthetic Star Wars ship parts for Save Our Ship 2. We do have Save Our Ship 2 for this playthrough. We're actually going to start in a ship. Rebuild Doors and Corners is like one of my favorite mods. But like, I just like the unique structures that are available with it. I like that the structures have utility, like glass walls and the wall reinforcements and stuff. And there's a lot of other stuff bundled into that mod. It's not just cool looking doors and walls and stuff. So if you haven't checked it out, I definitely recommend it. Outland Genetics is required for the Outer Rim Galactic Diversity mod, which adds all the Star Wars xenotypes. Vanilla Textures expanded. We have a bunch of prop mods, Outer Rim mods, all that fun stuff. So I guess kind of an explainer on the series before we like deep dive into the mods. I have been kind of doing like a Star Wars saga. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Star Wars series. It's just those 5, but we've kind of been drawing a story thread through all of them, right? So I revived the channel over a year ago with Star Wars Mandalorians, and we revisited some of those characters in Deserters. We followed up Mandalorians with Return of the Sith, and some of those characters also made it into Deserters. A character that we didn't plan on, who happened to just join us and happened to be a Jedi, showed up at the end of Deserters, and I decided to do this Clones versus Droids prequel. So there is like a thread running through these guys. There isn't one that is running through the Hutt Cartel, and we're kind of fixing that here with Jedi Survivors. I don't know if you guys all went and read the like really short, just like 3-page comic I put together. But you know, the Hutt Cartel takes place like early in the Empire. Clones versus Droids takes place towards the end of the Clone Wars, and Jedi Survivors will be seeing characters from both Clones versus Droids as well as the Hutt Cartel. And I think that's it on just kind of like set up in our timeline. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the key mods. So Outer Rim Core obviously needed to run all of the Outer Rim mods. There are a ton of them that we aren't going to be using. We aren't using Galactic Republic because the Republic's gone and all that stuff. So we're just using the ones that'll make sense for this playthrough. We have Galactic Diversity, and so this adds all the various xenotypes that we'll see coming from the Star Wars universe in this playthrough. The Rebel Alliance obviously is getting started, so hopefully they'll be allies to Ahra Kiri and Zitro. the Galactic Empire, of course, is going to be our biggest threat. And to kind of like, expand on that, we are doing the retheme mods. Where are they? So we have retheme, vanilla faction, expanded empire. So the empire will be reskinned as the Galactic Empire. And we're also doing Star Wars rethemed deserters. So the deserters will be themed up as rebels. And we are doing, I guess, another deserters playthrough. It's been a long time. It was such a fun playthrough the last time I did it. Hopefully I don't mess up as badly this time as I did that time. But I think, if Ahra Kiri and Zitro are still out there, then they are probably working either with the rebels or on their own to like stick it to the Empire when they can. We have the droid depot from Outer Rim, so this will get us our protocol droids, our R2 units, little Gonk droids, medical droids, and all kinds of stuff. We are using the Force mod, but I would like to lean more into the Star Wars The Force sidecasting mod, which does require vanilla sidecasting expanded. We used this during Clones versus Droids, but I didn't really explore the trees too much. We didn't really use these powers too much. I don't plan on us having like a 62-person colony this playthrough like we did with House Stormguard. So I'm thinking that whatever Force sensitives that end up with us need to be very powerful. And so we will hopefully be able to build that out for them here. I've been reading some of the descriptions here on the mod page, and I kind of have ideas for the types of characters that I want to build. So we'll see how that goes. What else? And reunion. So we aren't actually starting with Ahra Kiri or Zitro. So this is how we will kind of reunite with those two, as well as maybe some other Force sensitives out there. I think that's going to be it for that part of the setup. I mentioned that we have Anomaly plugged in, but we have it turned off. We also have Ideology plugged in, but I did set Ideology to vanilla. So we're not setting up our own ideology. I think it could get a little hairy, if we're dealing with rebels, if we're dealing with maybe some stray Mandalorians, if we're dealing with Jedi, if we're dealing with other folks that we might want to recruit. I don't necessarily want ideology to be like a feature there. Their shared ideology is that they're against the Empire, and everything else is kind of second fiddle to that. So we're not going to worry about ideology and roles and all that stuff this playthrough. Let me go ahead and load up the world. We'll take a look at the lay of the land, and we'll take a look at how our pawns are starting out. Okay, so this is the world that I created. I wanted it to feel a bit alien. So I pretty much turned off every biome except tundra and boiling forest. So we have this cool kind of red and yellowish view of the world from space. On this planet, the Empire has obviously established some kind of foothold here on this peninsula. We have the Galactic Empire faction, and so we'll say that this is maybe these were a bunch of cities, maybe this was a powerful nation that the Empire has colluded with, coerced, taken over. And now that's kind of their central operating base. And then we have this other Empire faction that's just called the Imperial Military that looks like it's kind of spreading out to the rest of the world from this area of power that the Empire has established. It's a pretty meager world. Just a bunch of farmers, basically. Some dens of ill repute. It looks like we do have a couple coverts of Mandalorians that are hiding out here in this mountain range, and we do have some rebel activity happening on this planet. So that's maybe why the Empire has taken an interest and has kind of established this foothold that is growing out to kind of influence the rest of the world. We are right here. We have decided to start in space, so we are on Panther's ship. We named the ship the Starclaw, right? Yeah, ship named the Starclaw. I. It's a little like. It's a little wonky. I was like, oh, I want to kind of make something that looks like the Ghost. We used parts to make it look like the Ghost. I didn't get the shape right. I don't expect us to um, hopefully not spend too much time here. I think we're set up to be able to kind of live out of here for a little bit as needed. But we have our starting characters right here. We have Panther Kif from the Hut Cartel series. We have a brand new character, Marrakes, just kind of like our shadowy bounty hunter. And we have Panther's little droid, R2BTL or Beetle. We'll just call him Beetle. And that is where we're going to start. I think what we're going to do is we're going to pick somewhere to land this ship, and we'll kind of start scouring the world. These two are on a mission to hunt Jedi. So we'll kind of see what they can do to get a hold of either Ahra Kiri or Zitro, and how Ahra Kiri or Zitro can hopefully change the situation to their advantage. But anyhow, thanks for hanging out with me here in part 0. I will catch you guys over in part 1. Bye.